Imagine a world where the price of everything you buy, from food to technology, is set not by politicians, but by millions of buyers and sellers negotiating every day. A system that has lifted billions out of poverty, created countless innovations, and generated unimaginable wealth. Yet, many governments fear this system. Why? Because it challenges their control, power, and sometimes their political survival. Today, we're diving deep into what the free market truly is, how it works, and why governments around the globe often fear losing control over it. What is the free market? At its simplest, the free market is an economic system where prices for goods and services are determined solely by supply and demand, without heavy government interference or control. Buyers and sellers freely decide what to buy, sell, and at what price. Adam Smith, in his seminal 1776 book, The Wealth of Nations, described this as the invisible hand, the idea that individuals acting in their own self-interest inadvertently promote the good of society. This system encourages competition, innovation, and efficiency because businesses must satisfy customers or risk going out of business. Unlike planned economies, where governments dictate production and prices, the free market allows flexibility and quick adaptation to changes. Real-world example: the apple market. Consider a simple example: apples. If a drought hits and fewer apples are grown, the supply decreases. This causes prices to rise because there are fewer apples available. Higher prices incentivize farmers to grow more apples next season to meet demand. Consumers faced with higher prices may buy fewer apples or switch to alternatives like oranges. This constant adjustment keeps markets balanced without any government needing to step in and dictate prices or quantities. This mechanism applies not only to fruit, but to everything from housing to smartphones, and even labor markets. It's the core of economic freedom. Benefits of a free market with data. The free market is behind some of the greatest economic achievements in history. Innovation. The technology sector, valued at over $5 trillion globally, is a product of free market incentives, pushing companies like Apple, Google, Amazon, and Tesla to constantly innovate. Economic growth. According to the Heritage Foundation's 2024 Index of Economic Freedom, countries with freer markets, like Singapore and Hong Kong, have GDP per capita exceeding $60,000, while less free economies often lag behind significantly. Consumer choice. In a free market, consumers enjoy a vast variety of products. For example, the smartphone market offers thousands of models, prices, and features, driven by fierce competition. These benefits stem from the market's ability to allocate resources efficiently, reward innovation, and respond rapidly to consumer demands. Why governments fear the free market? Despite its clear advantages, governments often fear a completely free market for several reasons. Loss of control. Governments wield significant power through economic policy. The free market's unpredictability limits their ability to direct the economy as they please. Political power. Control over economic levers can translate into political support. A free market can weaken that control, threatening the ruling class's grip on power. Social concerns. Free markets can lead to greater income inequality. For instance, OECD data shows rising inequality in many market economies over the last 20 years, sparking fears of social unrest. Market failures and crises. Events like the 2008 financial crash exposed the dangers of unregulated markets, pushing governments to intervene to prevent economic collapse. Crony capitalism. In some cases, governments manipulate markets to favor certain companies or groups, replacing fair competition with favoritism and corruption. Because of these fears, governments often introduce regulations, subsidies, tariffs, and price controls, examples of government intervention and their effects. 1. Price controls. Venezuela's government set maximum prices on basic goods in an attempt to fight inflation, but instead caused massive shortages. According to IMF data, Venezuela's inflation reached over 1,000% in 2019, making goods unaffordable and scarce. 2. Subsidies. The US subsidizes fossil fuels by about $20 billion annually, International Energy Agency, 2023. Which some argue slows investment in renewable energy technologies. 3. Trade barriers. The Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930 imposed high tariffs on imports, sparking retaliatory tariffs worldwide and deepening the Great Depression. 4. Bailouts. During the 2008 crisis, governments worldwide injected trillions to save failing banks, preventing economic collapse but raising debates about moral hazard and market distortion. These examples show that government interventions, though sometimes necessary, can distort market signals and reduce economic efficiency if poorly designed or excessive. Balancing free markets with smart regulation. No country operates a 100% free market. Most use a hybrid approach, balancing freedom with regulation. Germany's social market economy combines capitalist incentives with social protections, resulting in low unemployment, at 3.5% in 2004, and steady growth. Canada uses strong financial regulations and welfare programs while fostering entrepreneurship, leading to a GDP per capita of about $52,000 and high quality of life. Effective regulation ensures prevention of fraud and monopolies, protection of workers and environment, maintenance of fair competition, provision of safety nets for vulnerable citizens. The challenge is to strike the right balance. Too much regulation stifles innovation, too little leads to crises. Case studies, successes, and failures. Hong Kong, known for its minimal regulation and open markets, it transformed from a small port to a global financial hub with a GDP per capita around $65,000. Yet, rising living costs and social unrest highlight challenges of pure free market policies. Venezuela, heavy state control, price fixing, and expropriations led to a collapse in GDP of around 70% between 2013 and 2020. Hyperinflation and widespread shortages. United States, a mixed economy with strong free market sectors, Silicon Valley being a prime example, but also significant government regulation, welfare, and interventions. Final thoughts and call to action. The free market remains a powerful engine for innovation, wealth, and progress, when paired with rule of law and wise regulation. Governments fear losing control, but overreach can kill the dynamism that drives prosperity. Understanding this balance is key to grasping how our world works. If you found this explanation useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Tell us in the comments, do you think governments should let markets be freer, or should they control more to protect society? Remember, knowledge is power, and economics shapes the future. And also, the economy isn't just about money. It's about the lives we touch, the opportunities we create, and the choices we make every single day. Every policy, every law, every tax affects real people, real families, real futures. So it's not just about numbers. It's about the kind of society we want to build together. And in the end, the future depends on the choices we make today. So, what future will you choose?